All right, volume and surface area of a sphere is very similar to what we've been doing. You're just pretty much looking at the formulas that are given on your formula sheet. A sphere is pretty much a round ball. You should know what a sphere is, but it's like a tennis ball or a baseball or a basketball, a round object. And it's pretty much what defines a sphere is that if you were to pick any point on the outside of the ball, it's going to be the exact same distance to the point directly in the center. And that's a set of points in space that are given radius or distance from a fixed point in the center. That's what that second part is talking about, saying if I pick any points here, it's the exact same distance to the radius. My two formulas are right here. If you want to look up why they are 4 pi r squared or 4 over 3 pi r cubed, you can look online. There's some good videos. It's pretty much a lot of calculus, which is grade 12, second semester, but there are some good videos that can kind of break it down a little bit. An example, so a baseball has a diameter of 7.3 centimeters. How much leather is needed? The first thing we need to do is create a radius out of our diameter. So we're going to just divide our diameter in half and get our radius. We're then going to just use our formula and literally plug in. So 4 pi r squared, we plug in our radius, we should get 167.4, and throw a therefore statement. Therefore, you need 167.4 centimeters squared of leather. I know I'm going kind of quick, but it is just plug and play to the formulas. As long as you're okay with the formulas, you should be okay with this question. The next one's a little bit harder. You need to recognize that we've got a square piece of leather that's 23. If it's a square piece of leather with a length of 23, that means the width is also 23. So that means we've got 529 square centimeters of leather. I only need 167. So I'm going to do 529 minus 167. Find out that I have that much left over. Finally, if we've got a sheet of leather has an area of 1 meter cubed, how many balls can be covered using this sheet of leather? Well, 1 meter cubed is 1 meter squared. 1 meter squared is 1 meter by 1 meter. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. We need to change it to centimeters because that's where we have all of our other units in. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So we're going to have 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters. And that's going to be 10,000 centimeters squared. Then all we're going to do is divide by our number. 10,000 divided by 1 ball, which was 167.4, is 59.7. That means you can make 59 baseballs because you can't make that last one. You can't make 0.7 of a baseball and just assume you can make the other side. Okay. This one is a little bit harder because we've got a little bit more going on. What we need to do is just determine the volume of this propane tank. What you need to recognize is that I've actually given you the radius of a circle, or sorry, a sphere. Here's half of the sphere, here's the other half, and then there's a cylinder in the middle that has the same radius. If the radius is 1 here, it's also 1 right here. So the radius is the same for the cylinder as it is for the sphere. So all I need to do is I've got my formula for my sphere, and I'm adding my formula for my cylinder. I sub in all of my values, which really is just a 1 for this one, because the radius is 1. I sub in my radius is 1 again. My height of my cylinder, if I were to turn it up, is 3 meters. So I've got 3 meters subbed in here. I get my answers of 4.2 and 9.4, and I get all of my answers. Okay, and that's pretty much it. The questions are on 427, numbers 1 to 10. If you finish this, I want you to try the question we were doing yesterday. Find the smallest length of sides. So if you were to add all 3 sides together, what's the smallest number you're going to get? Pretty much the perimeter, but you don't have to include that third side. It's like the beach question, where one of the sides is just enclosed by something else. Now the total area is going to be 800 meters. So we're using length times width to find the area that you have. It needs to multiply to 800, but you want to find the smallest space possible.